So I just left without a plan, without a job lined up, without, I just jumped off the cliff and was like, I don't know what I'm going to do, but what I know is I'm not going to do this. Welcome to Wandering Weirdly, a podcast for curious adventurers, joyful rebels, and multi-passionate wanderers of every kind.
We're Annie and Thomas, friends exploring the messy magic of life and following curiosity wherever it leads.
Every episode is a journey through creativity, self-discovery, and the wonderfully tangled map of being a human.
Wandering Weirdly is a part of the Bold Departure Network, podcast for those craving an authentic and unconventional life on their own terms. Well, welcome to Wandering Weirdly. I'm Thomas Beutel.
And I'm Annie Slade.
Annie, how are you today?
Doing well today.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. It's finally starting to feel like autumn, which will be interesting depending on when this episode drops. But it's really nice. Summer is winding down and my calendar is clearing out, so I'm feeling pretty good about that. How are you?
Summer's just starting up here in San Francisco.
Oh yeah, you guys are on a kind of a different schedule.
We're on a different schedule here. We get our summers starting like the third, fourth week of August. And then we have some sunshine, and then occasionally it'll last all the way through November. Not always, but sometimes.
Okay. I love that for you. The rest of us are like, all done, and you're just getting started.
Yeah.
Well, what shall we do today?
I have some questions for you.
Okay,
Remember, you asked me a bunch of questions on the last episode, so turnabout is fair play. I get to ask you some questions.
Okay. I am as ready as I'm going to be.
Okay. So my first question is what is the most unconventional choice you've made in your life or your work?
Oh, just one. Okay. The most unconventional.
Just pick one.
I think the one that stands out to me is burning down my corporate career. I was almost 30. I was enrolled. I was in my second semester of my MBA program, which if you were to meet me now, that seems insane that I was going to get an MBA.
Yeah.
There was a confluence of events between like going to my corporate headquarters and seeing, there was just this moment where I was in my boss's office and I was looking at, on one screen was a spreadsheet, another screen was a PowerPoint. This was outside of Dallas and, corner office with the window, all of the things. I just had this moment where I'm like, oh my God, this is my trajectory. No, thank you. I do not want this. And so I spent the next 6 months behind the scenes, like making all sorts of changes so that I could just hit the eject button and leave. And this was in 2012. And so, one day that was it. It was the end. I left I had made it. This was the whole thing I had been working for, what I went to school for. I had reached all of the things that everybody said was success.
Yeah.
And I didn't want it. This was not satisfying in any way. So I just left without a plan, without a job lined up, I just jumped off the cliff and was like, I don't know what I'm going to do, but what I know is I'm not going to do this. This is not the life that I want. And there were plenty of people who thought I was absolutely insane. And there have been exactly 0 days that I have regretted that decision.
Isn't that great? Isn't that great that you're not regretting that? And
Never.
I am sure that a lot of people around you were just like saying, no, Annie, don't do that. And, partly
what are you going to do? How are you? I'm like, I don't know. I'll figure something out.
I imagine that they were invested in that vision just because whatever. I mean, society invests in that vision. And it's really hard to then go against the grain.
It was still to date. And I've done plenty of scary things, but that was still the scariest thing I've ever done is to just, like fully blow up every last bit of what I was told. This is the path. This is where happiness is. This is where success lies. This is all of those things.
Right.
And that was absolutely terrifying.
Can I ask you, you were talking in terms of something you saw that you did not resonate with. Mm-hmm. Can you describe what that was, that you saw, what you saw?
Sure. Yeah. I was in Dallas at our corporate office, and I'd been sitting in meetings with all of these executives and talking about things that I have, like, that none of this matters. None of this is important. In the grand scheme of, human existence and the human experience, like, what are we doing to make anything in this world better? Mm-hmm. And people are talking about this like it's interesting first, and I just felt it was so clear to me that I was an outsider. I mean, this is an industry that was very much dominated by men, so I'm one of the only women in the room. Mm-hmm. And I'm looking at these guys in their suits, and I'm imagining their lives. They're going to go to the parking garage and get in their expensive imported car and drive to the suburbs to their, cookie cutter McMansion house. And they're going to be back in the office, and they're working 60 to 80 hours a week doing what I don't actually even know.
Yeah.
And like taking time off is frowned upon, or, you get the kind of side eye.
Yeah.
And then it's just rinse and repeat for like how many years? And what kind of life is that? Mm-hmm. And like, no shade, if that's the thing that you are excited about, great. I was not excited about it. And it just kind of, was this flash of like, I'm in this MBA program. Okay, great. So the next step up, I'm surrounded by people, the next step up. And I'm like, oh my God, no. See, I was thinking this would give me more options. And it does give me more options, but they're not options that lead me to freedom. It's quite the opposite. Yeah. So it was just this, I don't know, kind of, flash of, here's the path ahead, and this is this is the path you're on. And it was just like oh no, hard stop. I gotta like get off, let me off the train.
I'm glad that you saw that and that you did that.
Me too. Thanks. Yeah. It was terrifying. I mean, it's really hard to explain how scary that was.
Few people do that. Few people will just put on the brakes and say, nope, this is not it.
Yeah. And I understand why, because it was so scary that wait, I've spent my whole life, 30 years almost. I think maybe it was 30. I think I was 30 actually, but being told that like, this is the way, this is the path. And like, I don't even know what else there is if I'm not doing this. Okay. Gonna find out.
Yeah.
And spoiler alert, turns out all right.
Yep. Ready for the next question?
Yep.
What is something that you love that surprises people?
Oh. I love me some trashy reality television.
Oh, really?
See? Even you are surprised.
Tell me more.
It's true. I don't know I'm not even sure why, but I love me some like The Bachelor. Yep. And now we have all of these other kind of similar, like Love is Blind. I just love me some trashy reality dating shows. I don't know why, but it is my like guilty pleasure. There's something about, I mean, I'm always rooting for love. I'm aware that reality, we're using some bunny ears here. Yeah. There's something about just, I think it's the like psychologist in me is very interested in seeing how people put in these very strange situations, how they act and how they interact, and can they form connections, and can they like, how do they handle themselves emotionally? I think there's definitely like a sociological element that I'm very curious about. But yep, that's one of those things that I remember telling a friend that once, and she was like, if you asked me of all of the humans that I know, which of them was into like trashy reality dating, you would never have made the list. And so there it is. There it is.
So when you are watching, do you ever like put yourself in that situation? Is that what you're doing?
No, I think it's quite the opposite. I think I'm more like, you know, the person in the corner with the clipboard, like, ooh, so and so just did this thing. Like, I see them projecting, like, ooh, your insecurities are showing, or oh, I see this thing just got triggered, and now you're taking it out on this other person. Yeah, no, I'm way more like the fly on the wall, like gathering the data and seeing what decisions they make and why and that sort of thing.
I have to admit, there is sort of a subgenre of that on YouTube where Gen Zers do like a day in the life type stuff. And they just talk about what they're doing today, and they're going down to the corner and getting coffee, and then they're talking about this situation, that situation. It is compelling.
Yeah, I mean, I think we're always kind of curious about our fellow humans and what somebody else's experience is like, and like who even signs up to be on these things, and, you know, yeah. So that's always one that people are surprised when they find out that, yep, if you were to look at my like Hulu and Netflix watch list, it's not the thing that I share widely until today.
Well, very good. I'm glad you did.
Thanks.
You know, my third question actually is, it almost sounds like it relates to the first question, but I'm going to ask you to find something different.
Okay.
The question is, has an exploration ever led you somewhere you didn't want to go, and what did you learn from it?
Somewhere I didn't want to go.
Yeah.
I'm sure that's been the case. Let me think for a minute. That could mean a lot of different things. Tell me what you haven't. Tell me what you mean by somewhere I didn't want to go.
This podcast is about both inner exploration and outer exploration. I kind of think that this is more about outer exploration. Like, was there some place you went to and then decided, oh, this is actually not what I wanted to do?
Yes, this does bring a very specific instance to mind. So back in 2015, I had this insane idea to take a solo trip with basically no plans. I had my camping gear and a rental car and flew to Europe and was like, I'm just going to go wander around and see what happens. The inspiration for the trip had been Plitvice National Park in Croatia. Like I guarantee you've seen pictures of it with like the beautiful turquoise waterfalls and all of that sort of thing. And so many people over the course of the years of being in the travel world had wonderful things to say about Croatia. And so originally I thought, oh, well, okay, maybe I will like make my way down the coast, maybe go island hopping, see what happens. And so anyway, I made it to the national park, and there was a gentleman camped next to me. Fascinating human. He was from Berlin, and he was biking. He had flown to Tehran and was biking all the way back to Berlin.
Wow.
I know, right? Like, wow.
There's a few mountains in between.
There's a whole lot of stuff in between. And so, yes, I encountered him in Croatia. He had just come from Bosnia and was telling me about that. Going to Sarajevo was on my short list of potentials for this trip. And it's like, oh, that sounds really interesting. Talking about how wonderful the people were and all sorts of great things. Okay, great, fine. It's a day or two later. It's time for me to like move on. And oh my God, I am so torn. Where do I go? There's a part of me that is so curious about Bosnia and just let's just go there. And then there's the other part of me that's like, yeah, but we wanted to go see the coast. I had spent 2 nights on the coast, like at the northern end, not down, in the parts where most people visit and that you hear about a lot. Right. And so I was having this internal battle of like I'm feeling this pull to go in the other direction, but part of what I was thinking when I came here was seeing the coast, going down, seeing some of the islands. What do I do? And I decided, okay, I'm going to the coast. Like this was the thing that I was originally kind of thinking that I wanted to do. And so I drove the couple hours to the coast, and it was windy, super windy. And I'm driving along and I'm just like, no, like everything is like scrubby and brown and rocky. And like, I'm like, well, if I just keep driving, like maybe it will get better. It did not. I ended up finding a campsite for that night, and, I was setting up my tent, and I'm just like, at this point, I'm like in tears for no apparent reason. And I'm just like so frustrated and annoyed. And I set up my tent and just was like, okay, I'm just going to get through the rest of today.
Yeah.
There's always hard days on the road. Okay, fine. Let's just take a beat. And then I woke up the next morning, and it was like, there was like a thunderstorm like on top of the campground. There's like lightning. I swear it was like hitting in the campground. And I am like in my tiny little tent, and I am just like, everything about this is such a hard no. Like as soon as this storm is past, that's it. I'm packing up. I'm driving to Bosnia. That's it.
Yeah.
And it was honestly the big takeaway for me from that experience was that first, since then, I trust my intuition implicitly. That like, if something inside me is pulling me in this other direction, I do not question that. I just listen, and great. That's where I'm going. And it was also an excellent life lesson in we can have ideas about what things might look like or where we want to go, whether metaphorically or physically. Yeah. And we need to make room for those to change in real time as we get new information, as we, explore a little more and find out it's okay if we change our plans.
Yeah.
Or, so that was one where it was, I was exploring and I made a choice and very quickly was like, no, this is not at all what I want.
You said you were in tears, so you were getting something energetically.
Oh yeah, everything in my body was like, no, this is not where you want to be.
Yeah.
Listen. And so I was like, I swear, the next morning I was like, got it. Lesson learned. Never again will I question my intuition. That's it.
That's a great story.
Thanks.
That's a great learning.
That one was, I joke, I'm like, that one was like a 2x4 upside my head that like, listen, okay? Like, do not ignore those signals.
Yeah. Your gut is telling you something. Yeah. Good.
Yeah.
Very good. I have one more question.
Okay.
And this might be a little bit of a softball question, but I want to ask it anyway.
Okay.
Do you believe that we choose our adventures or that they choose us?
Ooh, I don't know that that's a softball question. I think it's some of each. I actually am very much a believer in that we co-create this experience with whatever you want to call. I personally experience something bigger than myself that I am connected to. Right. People have lots of different words for this. For me, it's whether it's that intuition or that, higher self, whatever. But I feel like it's a give and take, that we're given opportunities and pulled in certain directions. And then we also get to choose whether or not we follow those. That I feel like it's a co-creation. kind of experience rather than we choose or are chosen. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
There's an aspect of emergence in there.
Yeah. That it's, I mean, if you talk about the hero's journey, it's like you can have the call, but you also get to choose whether or not you say yes.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
I like the idea of co-creation.
Yeah, right. And it also
gives
means
us
we're not
agency, but it also gives everything else agency as well.
right. And it gives us support that we're not just out here all by ourselves doing
Yeah.
everything alone. I mean, we have our fellow humans, we have our nature, we have all of the other things that we are connected to that are at play also. We don't operate as humans in a vacuum. So I feel like it's some of each.
Very good. I like that. All right. So we've come to that point in the episode where we talk about what is lighting us up. So what three things have been lighting you up in the last week or two?
Let's see. What
Or
things?
right now?
Yeah. I'm ready for my fall witchy phase. That like I am watching the leaves turn, and so I'm very much interested in the being outside and soaking up these last days of summer and watching just the world around me start to shift into the next season. So that's fun. I have been paying I've been paying more attention to astrology, which is a thing that I also do on the side, like the 25 other side projects we have. But yeah, we just had
We had an eclipse.
a full moon in Pisces with a lunar eclipse and a whole bunch of other interesting astrology happening alongside of it. So I have definitely been sitting in that. And I have been thinking I am actually planning a trip I'm planning a couple of trips, but the next one coming up is to Toronto. So I have been just looking at kind of some of the things I want to do while I'm there this time. Yeah, this will be my third time visiting. I have family there. So, and I'm going to spend a few weeks. And so now I've hit the highlights and seen some things. So yeah, I've just kind of been poking around and thinking about, what things I want to do while I'm there. And plus still writing carryover from last time.
Yeah. Good.
Yeah. What about you? What are your three things for right now?
Well, I have been tinkering on the train. I'll show that in just a moment. But I am working, so I'm always making stuff, right? So one of the things that I'm doing is I'm actually co-writing an animation program.
Oh.
And when I say co-writing, I'm having AI help me build it. But the idea is that it's to help do the spoken part of, like, when you're doing the different mouth shapes for speaking in an animation. So this program that I'm writing will actually take the voice, figure out what the correct mouth shapes are, and then apply those mouth shapes to the face. And the way it knows where on the face is you can put a little barcode on the face, and it can recognize where that barcode is. It's called an Aruko marker. I learned this recently, but the software can find where that marker is. It's like, finding the little QR code, and then it can replace the QR code with the mouth. And it's actually working. Now I'm sort of refining it and making it a little bit better. But that's kind of a fun process, because I'm just sitting there and saying, okay, fix this, and then I check it, and then it's like, okay, this isn't quite working, and then make an adjustment. And so it's weird it's a little bit weird to basically be talking to a programmer, like an AI programmer, and then seeing the results, and it actually is working. So
yeah, that's a trip. Okay.
It's pretty trippy.
Okay. I like that.
Yeah. The other thing I've been doing is I'm listening again to like 90s synth pop, just
Okay.
Duran Duran and The Cure
Yes.
and, you know,
Okay, I'm here
Men
for
with
that.
Hats and all that kind of stuff. Because, I mean, a lot of my playlists are like just straight up EDM, psytrance, that kind of stuff, which is good for when you're coding.
Hmm.
But after listening to the same playlist again and again, it's like, no, I need something different. And I haven't listened to 80s stuff for a while. I used to have, great mixtapes.
Oh man,
I still have my mixtapes
mixtapes.
somewhere. Although I don't know what I would use to listen to
I know,
it.
right?
I
All cassette players in my world are long gone.
Yeah. No, I still have a few around. They're kind of, you know, they're kind of worse for wear, but I think one of them still works.
Oh my gosh. I
Anyway.
related to this. I was in one of the local flea market vintage shops over the weekend, and there was a boombox, the double cassette boombox.
Oh
And
yeah.
I just had this memory of being a preteen sitting in my room, waiting for the DJ to stop talking so that I could hit the
Yeah.
record
Hit
button.
record.
And
Exactly.
I'm like, man, it was such an art. And kids these days will never have that experience of
That's right. I
oh
won't know
man,
what a mixtape is.
I know. Mixtapes were everything.
Hmm.
Yep. That's fun. And I have to ask because last time we talked, you shared your enchanted tree project and you were excited about it a little bit for a minute. Did you do anything else with that after we talked?
I have not,
Okay.
because I got pulled into this one, which is the thing that I made for my railroad.
Oh,
And
fun.
it's a building, but the reason that I had to make it this way for a couple of reasons. First of all, it's sort of a trapezoid, and you can't buy a trapezoidal building. The reason I had to make it this way is because there's a certain spot on my model railroad where there's two tracks and they go at an angle, and so I had to build an odd shape. So what I did, and this is for people listening on the audio, is I designed the front using a 3D printer. I designed it in the computer and then 3D printed it, and then the sides are basically foam core, and then I printed sort of a brick pattern onto it, and then I added these ghost signs. And then what I did this weekend was to assemble it all and put lights inside, and that's what this wire is this for the lighting.
I love that.
There's
That's so cool.
There's a little shoe store at the bottom,
Oh my gosh.
and the display windows light up as well. So
That's so cool. So fun.
sometimes you just have to make your own buildings.
I know. I love this because my brain totally does not work like that. And so I love seeing, yeah, that you're like, oh, okay. Yeah, I just do this and 3D print. And I'm like, what? My mind is blown. No, that's super cool. Okay. I just had to check on the enchanted tree.
Thank you. I'll get to that. I will.
Oh, I know. We'll talk about things that circle back because there's lots of them.
All right. Well, this was a wonderful episode, and learned a little bit more about you.
Yeah.
And
Some surprises in there.
and we'll talk again in the next episode.
Yep. That's all for this time. All right. Bye, friends.
Thanks for joining us for this episode of Wandering Weirdly.
You can find show notes and past episodes at wanderingweirdly.com.
Tune in next time for another wild and wandering exploration.
Don't forget to check out bolddeparturenetwork.com for more podcasts about authentic and unconventional living.